Today, I'm going to talk about income redistribution. So, what is income redistribution? It means that the government transfers wealth from rich people to vulnerable groups, and most of them are poor people. So, how does the government do that? First of all, the government collects money from wealthy people through taxes. And after collecting money, receiving money from rich people through taxes, then the government will spend money on healthcare, education, and also social welfare so that poor people can have a basic living standard. And this policy, income redistribution, follows the principle those who can afford pay more. That means rich people should pay some money to the government so that the underprivileged people can have basic rights for housing, for education, and for health care. So the aim of income redistribution is to benefit the vulnerable groups. And also, this policy can narrow the gap between the rich and the poor. So how wide is the income gap in Hong Kong? Unfortunately, Hong Kong is one of the most unequal societies in the world. The, the Gini coefficient is 0.539. It is extremely high. Although there was minimum wage, which is about 40, 34, the gap is still widening. It is reflected in housing. While wealthy people can live in luxurious apartments, poor people cannot afford housing. They can only live in subdivided flats in which the living conditions are unbearable. To redistribute income, first of all, the government has to collect taxes from rich people, and Hong Kong is famous for its low tax rate. The tax the tax rate in Hong Kong is only about 17.5%, which is much lower than the rest of the world. And in most parts of the world, such as in America, the tax rate can be as high as 40%. And the second reason why the wealth gap is widening is that the industrial structure is very narrow. Hong Kong now relies on the tertiary industry, for example, finance and banking, to support the economy. And the most poor people are uneducated, and they cannot, or they are not qualified, or they are not equipped with knowledge and skills to work in the tertiary industry, finance or banking, and so they may not be able to find high-paying jobs. And where is the secondary industry? In the 1990s, many factories have moved to China to the north, and many manufacturing workers were made redundant. They lost their jobs, and they can only, after being fired by the companies, they can only find jobs uh, in the catering industry, um, and they become waiters, um, delivery man, or work in other low-paid jobs. And these low-skilled workers can only rely on the minimum wage. And in contrast, people who are highly educated, that means those who uh, have received an education in universities, they have special skills, so they can earn a lot of money. And doctors, nurses, lawyers are examples of people who are highly educated and have special skills. They are not easily replaced by others in the job market. That's why they have the bargaining power. With the bargaining power, they can negotiate for higher salaries from their employers. On the other hand, those with low education and low skills can only take up low-paid jobs, and their interests are exploited. That's why income redistribution is necessary. By doing that, the government can guarantee basic rights and maintain social justice. Basic rights include the right to basic housing. That means um, every family should um, live in satisfactory conditions. Uh, their flats cannot be too small and with good ventilation. Also, they should have food, and all children should receive basic education. No one should be denied the right to education because of poverty. In addition, regardless uh, of your wealth, everyone should receive basic health care. Nobody should be left out of the hospital because they are poor. And the second reason why the government should redistribute income is that social justice should be maintained. Poor people also um, make contributions to the prosperity of Hong Kong society. Therefore, they should share the fruit of economic success. This graph shows how income is redistributed. The government collect taxes from these wealthy people, and the money collected from taxes is called revenue. With revenue, the government has money to provide uh, basic services for poor people, and this is welfare. And social welfare can be provided in different forms: education, medical services, that means public hospitals. Hong Kong's healthcare system uh, is one of the best in the world, and poor people can receive basic healthcare. But in other developed countries, such as the United States, if you uh, cannot pay for your medical fees, the hospital will not provide any treatment to you. And the third area in which the government can provide service or to improve people's living standard is housing. The public housing provides accommodation for about 40% of Hong Kong people, and this can ensure social stability. Another way for the government to improve the lives of poor people is to provide comprehensive social assistance. That is to give poor families a sum of money, which is about $10,000 every month, to ensure that they can maintain basic living. And somebody may have a theory about whether government should redistribute income in a society founded on the free market principle. I think government intervention and free market can exist at the same time. Sometimes the free market may not ensure fair competition. In an unequal society, wealthy people have money or capital to control the market, thus eliminating opportunities for other small companies to enter the market. Once big companies dominate the market, monopoly will happen. And in a monopolistic market, big companies can increase prices as they want, and this will increase the cost of living. Also, if basic housing, education, and healthcare is provided, the whole population, will become more educated and healthy. And a healthy, educated workforce can enhance economic competitiveness. For example, in a developed economy, there are many vacancies for people who are knowledgeable with special skills. But if a society does not have enough people with high education and sophisticated skills, there will be not enough people to fill up job vacancies. Thirdly, free market is not equal to efficiency. In the US, healthcare is totally private, but it is not efficient. Much resources have gone to the hands of insurance companies. That means you have to pay money to the insurance companies so that those insurance companies can refer you to certain hospitals. But in the process, the insurance companies have already um, received, okay, has already um, got some money from the amount of money you pay to the hospital. And this indirectly increases the hospital bills. And this graph shows how much the government has spent on income redistribution. In general, the government does not spend more than its income. And the government spend a lot of money on healthcare, social welfare, and education. And that's all for this lesson.